Okay, on to more serious matters. I have a story here. Somewhere between 6 to 8 polar bears have invaded a suburb just outside of Phoenix, Arizona, and have gone on a killing rampage, killing and maiming the citizens of a suburb just outside of Phoenix. Currently, estimates are 2,000 dead from this polar bear attack. The injured will count in the several thousand. We are getting scattered reports on that, and we will update you as those numbers come in. We hear of people with severe wounds to their midsection, intestines dangling outside their body as they enter the hospital, missing limbs, people bleeding out on the streets. It is a bloodbath in this neighborhood just outside of Phoenix. The polar bears have shown a tenacity that we have not seen. I have not seen personally. They have been going door to door. They have busted through doors. They are targeting large groups, large centers, churches, schools, sporting events. They don't care. They're going through and they're killing everybody in that region. I think at this point, at a time like this, in the wake of so much needless human suffering and death, and to see violence of this kind, I think right now we need to have a very real conversation. And I think what we focus on right now is of critical importance. I think right now it's safe to say we are all in shock. We are all mourning this needless and horrific loss of human life. Our thoughts and prayers are with the family members of every victim of these polar bears. Let me give voice to what needs to be said now. We have got to realize that these polar bears, these 6 to 8 polar bears, do not represent the vast majority of polar bears on the planet. There are 25,000 polar bears on this planet. Most of them are peaceful. This is a fringe minority group of polar bears that you're witnessing here. Do not paint all polar bears with this brush. Most polar bears are sitting in the Arctic, walking around slowly just meandering around, going fishing. They're trying to feed their families. They're trying to live their lives. Okay, so the activity of these polar bears does not represent them. In fact, these can hardly be considered true polar bears. A true polar bear lives a peaceful existence, goes about hunting for its family, and sunbathes. It defecates in the snow, and it wanders around and looking for its next meal. That is a peaceful, harmonious existence. What these polar bears have done, quite frankly, to me, disqualify them as being called polar bears. I will call them terror bears. Okay, they are terror bears. Always remember that. They are terror bears. They aren't polar bears. They're not true polar bears, I can tell you that. Okay, that being said, let's move on to a very important topic, a very relevant topic that is tangential to this, but highly relevant. And that is, in light of the 2,000 dead from this polar bear attack, I'm going to tell you that let's not forget that disease-ridden badgers also kill people. Okay, it's not just polar bears that attack. Disease-ridden badgers will bite somebody. They will bite a child, they will bite a hiker, and they will kill those people. We have had 8 deaths in America, in the northwest region of America alone. 8 deaths in the past 20 years from disease-ridden badgers. Okay, so you need to not lose sight that it's not polar bear violence that is a problem. Our reports are now it's 2,200 dead in this suburb of Phoenix, but disease-ridden badgers also commit violence. So let's not pinpoint one animal species. Disease-ridden badgers kill, polar bears kill. Okay, so we should be against animal violence, animal killing, definitely. Let's not focus on polar bears. Let's not have a backlash against polar bears. Okay? Also, something to consider, during the Middle Ages, during the 1500s, disease-ridden badgers killed thousands of people. There was a major problem. In Europe, badgers were going around biting people. During the Black Plague, people say, oh, the Black Plague was spread through the vermin. Not precisely. Disease-ridden badgers were all over Europe, and they were biting people at a record pace. A lot of human blood on the hands of disease-ridden badgers, and that was in the 1500s. Let's not lose sight of that. Now, this polar bear attack happened 5 hours ago. But just wanted to bring up that story from the 1500s just to keep you informed. I think it's important. I would like to also note that this polar bear attack has not been getting a lot of coverage. I was going around the other news channels, and you hear a lot of stuff about celebrities, you hear a lot of stuff about the economy, sports, Kim Kardashian's ass, you hear a lot of stuff. I wonder why you're not hearing a lot of stuff about this polar bear attack. Let me just put it this way. This suburb of Phoenix it's a working class neighborhood. It is, how can I put this? How can I put this delicately? It's a socioeconomically challenged sort of region. Yeah, you could call it a developing area. It's not the upscale part of Phoenix. It's more, there's low income housing there. It's like, I don't know. I'm not sure if you're understanding. There's a lot of chicken fast food restaurants there. I don't know if that sort of clears this up. A lot of the local basketball talent is derived from this particular suburb. And actually, virtually none of the hockey talent comes from this area. I'm not sure if you understand. It's a black neighborhood, okay? It's a black neighborhood. And the reason why this story is not getting coverage is because when a polar bear attacks a black neighborhood, nobody cares because you're all racists. Why? Look at the fucking color of your skin. You're white. And guess who else was white? Racists. Slaveholders. You have the same color skin as a slaveholder. Therefore, you're a racist. And you don't want to cover this story because you probably have editorial control over what CNN and the BBC cover. So you might want to take a hard look at yourself and ask yourself, maybe is it you see the polar bears as these white knights, these white crusaders coming in to finish the job? You know, those blackies wouldn't go back to Africa, so you sent in the white knights, the polar bears. Just consider that. Consider your racist attitude about not covering this story. Anyway, back to some other points. Other things to consider in light of this massacre. Perhaps we are to blame. Let's not forget about the occupation of humans into polar bear territories. Okay, we have been occupying their lands for decades, centuries. We invaded their ancestral home, unauthorized. There was no international law that gave us permission to do this. Not to mention, we've been polluting their environment. So we have to shoulder some of the responsibility here. Okay, we polluted their environment. We have been stealing their fish. The fish reserves in their ecosystem have been depleted due to our fishing, due to human overfishing of that region. We have been a burden to them. We have to understand that when an attack like this occurs, there's a really good possibility that it's our fault. Also, it's very important to remember that this is a lone incident. Okay, this is a one-time occurrence. We have no other examples of polar bears attacking human beings anywhere in the world at any point throughout human history. This is a freak occurrence. Excuse me? Hold on. Getting a report. Okay, just getting a report here. I've just come to learn that polar bear attacks are happening all of the time. Hundreds of thousands of innocent men, women, and children on every continent of the planet are being attacked on a daily basis. This changes things. Wow. In light of this, I need to really highlight how many people died in the 1500s from diseased badger attacks. This only makes that point more important. We must focus on badger attacks. We must talk about badger. In fact, if you tell me there's a polar bear attack, I'm going to talk to you about badger attacks. Not the ones that happen now. There are very few. Okay, I'll be honest, there are next to no. In fact, I am remiss to even think of a badger attack. We have not reported on a badger attack in decades, but 1500s. Keep that in mind. I will review the main points. These are not polar bears, not the ones in Phoenix, not the ones around the world, not the ones that will be attacking tomorrow. They are terror bears, a different kind of thing, not even remotely the same. They call themselves polar bears, they're not. Diseased badgers, we've gone over that. Point 3, you're a racist. Point 4, the Holocaust was committed by Christians. And I think I will leave you there, let you think on that, and stop being bearophobic. So please stop being polar bearophobic. It's unsightly. It's disgusting. You're anti-bear. You're a hate monger. You're a fear monger. And how dare you have the gall to go fishing in the Arctic to support the pollution of their environment, and then you have the gall to criticize polar bears when they kill your people. How dare you? How dare you?